Here you go, buddy. Breakfast of champions.
What's the wackiest food combo you've ever tried? Well, see how these 15 insane food combinations that actually exist stack up.
All right.
Peanut butter and banana sandwich.
I'm good.
You got nut allergy?
I've got a finger allergy.
This entry may contain fruit, but thanks to the bananas typically being fried in oil, it's much more of a guilty pleasure. While there's no definite origin of where the PB&B combo started, it was certainly made most famous by music icon Elvis Presley.
Ladies and gentlemen, Elvis Presley.
Legend has it that the king of rock and roll indulged in sandwiches of caramelized banana with creamy peanut butter, so much so that the sandwich is often named after Elvis in some way whenever you see it on a menu. Simultaneously salty, crunchy, sweet, and a little creamy, this flavor explosion combo doesn't sound like it should make sense. But since it was a meal fit for a king, it's gotta be good enough for the rest of us too. Coca-Cola and Peanuts.
How do you even drink that?
Because it's delicious.
Coke has its place in more than one crazy food combination, but this one is actually pretty commonplace in the South, which makes sense considering the carbonated concoction's southern roots. After all, it was in Georgia in 1886 where pharmacist John Pemberton came up with the first draft recipe for Coca-Cola, which he distributed throughout soda fountains across the southern USA. In this instance, classic Coke is combined with a handful of peanuts to create a salty, sweet, crunchy cocktail.
It's like peanut butter flavored Coke.
The origins aren't specific, but it seems to carry the nickname Farmer's Coke, and was probably a convenient way for the southern working class folks to get through their afternoon snack and drink faster on their breaks back in the day. The tradition has carried on into modern times, but it seems the idea of drinking your snacks has remained relegated to the southern states for the time being. French fries and Frosties.
Frosty chocolate milkshakes.
Even if you've never tried it, you've probably at least seen someone dunk their hot French fries into their icy cool Wendy's Frosty. The home of the old-fashioned hamburger has even encouraged the idea and concocted a customer survey on the subject in 2012. They came up with statistics like how 47% of people surveyed admitted to dipping fries into Frosties, that 18 to 24-year-olds are twice as likely to dunk their fries in a Frosty instead of traditional condiments, or that twice as many 18 to 34-year-olds do the dunk than those in the 45 to 64-year-old age bracket. Mathematics aside, you don't need to be a calculus expert to understand that, as insane as it sounds, something just works when it comes to this contrasting temperature team-up.
Why would they change math? Math is math.
Okay,
Math
Dad.
is math.
Pineapple and pizza.
Remember me?
Pineapples?
Depending on who you ask and how short your fuse is, the very idea of pineapple on pizza might send you into a rage that would make even the Incredible Hulk blush. What's considered one of the most insane food combos of all time, and to many an affront to both the Italian and American pizza tradition, is technically referred to as a Hawaiian pizza. But did you know this whole controversy was started in Canada? It was 1962 when Canadian pizza maker Sam Panopoulos came up with the idea after a delicious experience with a sweet and sour dish from a local Chinese restaurant that he tried to replicate on a pizza. But at the time, he had no idea the controversy he created would still be going strong over 6 decades later. Love it or hate it, everyone has an opinion, and yet pineapple on pizza has expanded its global footprint. The Canadian invention is a huge hit in Australia and the United Kingdom, but somehow not in Hawaii or most of the United States. While the debate rages on, Time magazine even named it the most influential pizza of all time on a rankings list in 2014. For causing such a fuss, maybe South Park had it right. Blame Canada, indeed. Coca-Cola and Ramen.
Get ramen! You say you want to make ramen!
Here's another Coke combination, and this recipe has circulated the internet in a few forms, all of which call for boiling your packet of instant noodles in Coca-Cola instead of good old-fashioned H2O. The theory behind it is that boiling the Coke separates the water and sugar, leaving the good parts to be absorbed by the noodles while adding flavor to everything else. It's been said that the sweetness adds an extra air of rich depth, reminiscent of Japanese okonomiyaki sauce that is thick and sweet, while still carrying an umami punch like soy sauce and Worcestershire sauce do. It ties right in with classic Asian sweet and sour dishes. Some restaurants are known to make their General Tso's chicken with a cola-infused sauce. So if you usually enjoy a glass of Coke with your noodle lunch, this just speeds up the process.
This is really good.
Orange juice instead of milk.
Do you want some orange juice?
Orange juice. Orange juice. Absolutely.
Whether you like it with pulp or without, which is a food controversy all its own, orange juice has found itself in more than one insane food combination. It's been used as a spirit mixer in screwdrivers and mimosas, or famously with malt liquor in a brass monkey. Apparently no relation to the classic Beastie Boys song. But some of the wilder combinations have orange juice being used in a pinch when another liquid isn't available, like milk, for example. As in substituting OJ for milk in your breakfast cereal before you head off to work, or as a citrusy option to dunk your Oreo and chocolate chip cookies into when you're out of mood juice. While those morning Lucky Charms can probably do without the orange tang, the theory holds water since it crosses into sweet and sour territory where so many food combinations meet. But for now, we'll play it safe and keep dipping our Oreo cookies the usual way. After all, nobody ever leaves cookies and orange juice for Santa on Christmas Eve.
What the hell you doing in my house?
Loving these weird combos? Then go ahead and hit that subscribe button. It's as easy as pouring OJ on your cereal. Thanks. Chocolate and chips.
I was thinking we'd make some cookies.
Chocolate chip?
The concept of adding sugary sweetness to already salty treats is nothing new, with the basic idea being traced back to the invention of the chocolate-covered pretzel back in 16th century Germany. As the story goes, in the year 1544, a chocolatier and a pretzel baker decided to join forces and the tradition of salty chocolate-covered treats was born. Attempting to bring the idea mainstream, Lay's tried their hand at a new snack when they dipped their wavy chip line into milk chocolate back in 2013. The bags were 5-ounce portions and given a trial run around Valentine's Day as a sweet treat for everyone's sweetheart.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's to you.
The line didn't stick around and hasn't seen another nationwide release since 2015. In place of the mass-produced chip, fans have cobbled together various recipes to recreate the idea at home, and Lay's themselves have even posted a do-it-yourself recipe on their website. So maybe this idea isn't so insane after all. Dried ramen with just the seasoning.
Willie, we've got rats chewing through the wiring again.
Leave me alone! I'm making me ramen noodles!
This crazy food combination that actually exists isn't about adding two radically different ingredients together or throwing an extra something into an already well-known recipe. This one subtracts an ingredient. Picture a packet of ramen noodles with everything except the key addition, the water to cook them. Apparently, by crunching up the noodle patty into bite-sized chunks and sprinkling the seasoning packet over top, you get a crunchy, salty, poppable potato chip-style snack. When there's no vending machine around to cure those munchies, it might just work. The idea seems solid in practice, but leaves us wondering if it works the other way around. Like, can you turn chips into instant soup?
Magic.
Flamin' hot Cheetos and Philly cheesesteak.
Hotness! Mama hot!
As you might have seen in the recent film titled Flamin' Hot, folks just can't get enough of this spicy Cheetos sensation. So much so that crossover recipes are springing up on the internet, and even popular restaurants are finding new and exciting ways to combine Flamin' Hot Cheetos with new tastes. Restaurateur Sam Berry of Dearborn, Michigan has found a weird hit by adding Flaming Hot Cheetos as a topping to the traditional Philly cheesesteak sandwich. We've heard of onion rings on a burger, but Cheetos on a cheesesteak might be a little over the top. Flamin' Hot Cheetos and street corn.
Surprise!
An even more creative crossover for the fiery and fluorescent Cheeto originates in another professional setting, but you'll find this one at a baseball stadium instead of a restaurant, specifically Dodger Stadium in Los Angeles. Peanuts, popcorn, and Cracker Jack are passé. This creation from Dodgers executive chef Ryan Evans, the Cheeto Lote, is a spin on traditional Mexican elote street corn, which is normally roasted corn topped with mayonnaise or cream and queso. Instead, the roasted corn is covered in chipotle lime mayo, tahini seasoning, and cotija cheese, and a healthy coating of dusted Flamin' Hot Cheetos. If you can handle the heat, then batter up. Boxed mac and cheese jalapeno poppers.
Bless this highly nutritious microwavable macaroni and cheese dinner.
We move to the pasta box for our next odd couple combination. You can find jalapeno poppers on the menu at many fast casual restaurants in the country, but this version turns it into a budget comfort food with the help of every broke college student's go-to meal. Poppers are hollowed-out jalapenos traditionally either stuffed with processed or cream cheese and then baked or deep-fried. But this internet suggestion replaces the filling with classic boxed mac and cheese. Yes, elbow macaroni noodles and all. It's easy enough to draw the line from the usual cheese filling to the overpowering powdered cheese taste of boxed mac and cheese. But leaving in the noodles makes these some perplexing poppers.
Spicy.
Kraft mac and cheese tuna casserole.
Tuna casserole.
Yes.
If recreating a pub-style appetizer with a box of mac and cheese isn't your style, why not shift to classic home-style comfort food? When you think of tuna casserole, it probably conjures up the stereotypical 1950s imagery with white picket fences and mom's home cooking. But that dreamy ideal is shattered by this concept of replacing the usual egg noodles found in tuna casserole with that powdery orange cheese bomb of Kraft mac and cheese. Adding in the mandatory can of tuna and some diced pickles as a secret ingredient are supposed to set this recipe off, but many would just be setting it down. Maybe just see if there are any leftovers in the fridge instead.
Nice one. You have all this in your house?
Watermelon and feta.
I like it. I like watermelon.
He likes watermelon. Of course you like it, because it's delicious.
Here's another clash of flavors that you can feel a little less guilty about thanks to its crisp and refreshing summery base of fruit. Research has shown that ancient Egyptians grew watermelon as far back as 3,500 years ago, which might be why it makes sense to pair it with a Greek delicacy from the other side of the Mediterranean Sea in the form of feta cheese. The pear is often served as part of a larger watermelon salad with vinaigrette, red onion, black olives, mint, or avocado, but the pairing works well enough to stand on its own together. Watermelon and feta are traditionally served at breakfast and might give hotcakes and syrup a run as the best breakfast pairing. Okay, maybe that's pushing it a bit. Celery and peanut butter.
Everything bagel, chicken breast, some celery sticks, and a spoon of peanut butter.
What might sound craziest of all is the fact that not every eyebrow-raising food combination out there is a devilish dessert or a late-night munchies fix. Some of them make sense on a nutritional level, too. Case in point, the much less interesting but much healthier team of celery sticks with peanut butter. The much maligned after-school snack was no replacement for Jell-O or Twinkies, but as adults, we might be able to appreciate what it does for our health. The pairing is packed with nutrients, fiber, protein, and heart-healthy fats. In fact, even half of a stalk of celery topped with a teaspoon of peanut butter provides you with 96 calories, 4 grams of carbohydrates, 8 grams of fat, 4 grams of protein, and 1.6 grams of fiber. You'll also get vitamin B6, vitamin E, vitamin K, and zinc. It's still no substitute for a classic late-night snack, but it'll do in a pinch.
Gross.
I washed it.
Why the wackiness works.
That's perfect, Chef.
That's good? Seasoning?
Oh, it's perfect. It's nice and spicy.
You like it?
Oh, man.
After pointing the finger at everyone for their crazy food combos, it turns out there's a scientific explanation for why these odd couple tastes make you feel like there's a rocket ship blasting off in your mouth. The phenomenon is referred to as dynamic sensory contrast and was explained by a food science professor from Penn State University in a 2017 interview. It's much like the phenomenon of sweet and sour foods at your local Chinese restaurant or the sweet and salty crossover of a Reese's peanut butter cup.
We are not gonna let you mix those chemicals.
The combinations overload your taste buds with two very different tastes at the same time. It's doubly effective when the texture works on the same principle as the taste, with the contrasting feel of crunch against softness. A layman's term for the science behind dynamic sensory contrast has been coined the ice cream effect, denoting when something tastes so spectacular, your brain forgets that you should eventually be feeling full while stuffing your face. That definitely explains why we always have room for dessert. We're serving up great videos 24/7. Just tap or click, hit that subscribe button, and ring that bell to join our notification squad.